Good morning students. In this video we discuss about second essential organ or last oral of angiospermic flower, that is gynoecium. Individual parts of gynoecium is called carpels. Carpels are also called pistils. Carpels or pistils, they are the female reproductive organs. Female reproductive organs. Female reproductive organs are they also called megasporophiles. Megasporophiles of flower. Megasporophiles of flower. So each carpel or each pistil has three parts. Each carpel or each pistil has three parts. Each carpel or each pistil has three parts. This is the basal part. The basal swollen part is called ovary, and this is long tube-like structure. This is called style, and this is the uppermost part. The uppermost part is known as stigma, and ovules present inside the. These are the ovules. Ovules present inside the ovary on a special structure, and this special structure is known as placenta. Each carpel has three parts: ovary, style, and stigma. This is the stigma. Stigma is the uppermost part of carpels, and stigma act as a landing platform. Stigma act as landing platform for pollen grains. Pollen grains are finally produce male gametes, and usually pollen grains they land on the stigma. With the help of stigmatic secretions, pollen grain develop to form two male gametes, and two male gametes reach the ovule, then fertilization will takes place. This is the uppermost part. What is the stigma? It is the uppermost part. It acts as landing platform for pollen grains. And next, this is the long tube-like structure. The long tube-like structure is called style. And style usually it is of three types. It is of three types: terminal style, lateral styles, and basal, or it is also called gynobasic. These are the three types of style. Terminal styles. Usually terminal style it develops from tip of the gynoecium or tip of the ovary, and lateral styles are the styles develops from lateral sides of the ovary. Gynobasic, the style develops from base of the gynoecium. Then it is called gynobasic. This is the long tube-like structure. The long tube-like structure of carpel is known as style, and style helps in movement of pollen tube. The movement of pollen tube, the style helps in the movement of pollen tube into the ovule. And there are three types: terminal, lateral, and gynobasic. Terminal style develops from tip of the gynoecium. Lateral styles develops from lateral sides, and gynobasic the style develops from base of the gynoecium. And the innermost, the swollen part, the inner swollen part is called ovary. And after fertilization, this ovule is the site for fertilization, means fusion of both male and female gametes. Then after fertilization, this ovary transferred into fruit, and the ovary wall transferred into fruit wall, and this fruit wall is known as pericarp. After fertilization, ovary transferred into fruit, the ovule transferred into seed. If gynoecium it may have one or more than one carpels. If gynoecium has only one carpel, then the gynoecium is known as monocarpellary gynoecium. If gynoecium has two carpels, then gynoecium is known as bicarpellary gynoecium. If gynoecium has three carpels, then it is known as tricarpellary gynoecium. If gynoecium has four carpels, then it is known as tetracarpellary gynoecium. If it has more than 4 carpels, then it is known as multicarpellary gynoecium. Depending on the number of carpels, gynoecium is said to be monocarpellary, bicarpellary, tricarpellary, tetracarpellary and multicarpellary gynoecium. If all this, if for example in more than two conditions, if bicarpellary gynoecium, if both carpels are fused, then gynoecium is known as syncarpous gynoecium. Gynoecium is known as syncarpous. Syncarpous means if carpels are fused. If carpels are free, then the gynoecium is known as apocarpous gynoecium. Apocarpous gynoecium means carpels or pistils are free. So syncarpous gynoecium is possible from bicarpellary to multicarpellary gynoecium. And apocarpous gynoecium is possible to also bicarpellary to multicarpellary, but in monocarpellary gynoecium it is always apocarpous gynoecium. So depending on the number of carpels, depending on the fusion or free, they are known as different types. And each carpel has three parts: ovary, style and stigma. And this is the ovary portion. This is ovary, and ovary after fertilization, ovary transferred into fruit. And inside the ovary there are many rooms, or there are many chambers, and the chambers or the rooms present inside the ovary, they are known as locules. Depending on the number of locules, this ovary, the ovary is also known as unilocular ovary. Unilocular ovary, it means ovary has only one locule. Ovary has like that. If ovary has only one room or only one chamber, then the ovary is known as unilocular. If ovary has two locules, then it is known as bilocular ovary. In bilocular ovary, the ovary has two chambers. If ovary has three locules, then it is known as trilocular, like that. Trilocular ovary. So these are the three locules. If it has four, then tetralocular ovary. More than two, then it is called multilocular ovary. So depending on the number of locules, the ovary is said to be unilocular to multilocular. Depending on the number of carpels, gynoecium is said to be monocarpellary to multicarpellary gynoecium. If carpels are fused, then gynoecium is known as syncarpous. If carpels are free, then gynoecium is known as apocarpous gynoecium. Then ovules present inside the ovule, and ovules are the main site for, they are the site for fertilization. After fertilization, ovules transferred into seed, and seed is the basic structure for all sexually reproducing organisms. And the arrangement of ovules inside the ovary, this process is known as placentation. So what is placentation? The arrangement of ovules. The arrangement of ovules on the placenta in the ovary is known as placentation. So what is placenta? It is a special parenchymatous cushion-like structure. It is a parenchymatous cushion-like structure present inside the ovary. For example, this is ovary, and here inside the ovary there is a cushion-like structure, and this cushion-like structure is known as placenta, and ovules arranged on this placenta, and this arrangement is known as placentation. The arrangement of ovules on the placenta in the ovary is known as placentation. Is it clear? The arrangement of ovules on placenta in the ovary is known as placentation. And placentation is of various types. So placentation is of various types. The first one is marginal placentation. This is the marginal placentation. In marginal placentation, the ovaries The ovary is unilocular. Marginal placentation, and this is the ovary. Inside the ovary there is only one chamber and only one carpel present. So in marginal placentation, the ovary is monocarpellary unilocular. Monocarpellary unilocular ovary. Monocarpellary unilocular ovary. And in this placentation, the placenta develops a ridge. A placenta develops a ridge along the ventral suture. Ventral suture. Suture means junction. Placenta develops a ridge as a rough structure, and this rough structure forms along the ventral side. And this is the placenta. And ovules on the placenta, ovules forms two rows. Two rows, one row is long and one row is long and one row is short. On the placenta, the ovules are arranged. In marginal placentation, the ovary is monocarpellary unilocular ovary, and placenta develops a ridge along the ventral suture, and ovules present in two alternate rows. And this type of placentation usually found in pea, beans and other legumes. This is the first kind of placentation. The second one is parietal placentation. This is the second. In parietal placentation, the ovary is unilocular. Ovary is unilocular. But in this placentation, the ovary is unilocular ovary. But it appears bilocular due to presence of a false separation, and this false separation is known as rhabdoid. And placenta, this is the placenta. Placenta develops along the inner wall. Placenta develops along the inner wall of the ovary. Placenta develops along the inner wall of ovary. And this type of placentation is usually present in cucumber, watermelon, etc. This is the second type of placentation. Next, third one is axial placentation. In axial placentation, the ovary is bilocular to multilocular ovary, and placenta develops along the central axis. The ovary is multilocular ovary. So more than 4 locules present, and placenta, this is the placenta. Placenta develops at the central axis and ovules present on it. Ovules present on the central axis. Placenta develops, in this type, placenta develops at central axis and ovules present on it. And this type of placentation present in different types. In case of ovary is bilocular, example brinjal. Ovary is trilocular, example onion. If ovary is multilocular, then example citrus. And usually axial placentation is the characteristic feature of citrus family. Along with citrus family, it is also present in brinjal and onion. In parietal placentation, the ovary is unilocular. In axial, it is the only type of placentation in which the ovary is bilocular to multilocular ovary. And next type of placentation is free central placentation. Next one is free central placentation. In free central placentation also, the ovary is unilocular, and placenta develops at center of the ovary, and ovules freely present on placenta. And this type of placentation is called free central placentation. Free central placentation found in dianthus, and commonly it is known as dianthus is commonly known as pink. So in free central placentation, the ovary is unilocular and placenta develops freely at the center. So placenta develops freely at the center, and it is known as free central placentation. Actually, free central placentation develops from axial placentation. When the central axis becomes dissolved, then the ovary becomes unilocular and placenta develop, and it is located freely at the center, and ovules present on it. And this type of placentation develops in dianthus, and dianthus is commonly known as pink. Last type of placentation, that is called apical placentation. Apical placentation, also ovary is unilocular. And placenta develops at apex of the ovary. This is the placenta, apex of the ovary, and only one ovule is present. Single ovule. Single ovule is the characteristic feature of apical placentation. And this type of placentation present in sunflower. So these are the various types of placentations. So this is the last topic of flower, that is forms of thalamus. Thalamus, what is the thalamus? It is the seat of the flower, and based on the insertion of ovary in the thalamus with respect to other floral organs, and thalamus has different forms. And according to different forms of thalamus, flowers can be categorized into 3 types. So what are the 3 types of flowers? Hypogynous flowers. The first one is hypogynous flower. Hypo means below, gynous means gynoecium. In a hypogynous flower, this is the shape of thalamus. And this is gynoecium, and these are the calyx, corolla and rhizome. Calyx, corolla and rhizome. In hypogynous flowers, the thalamus modified into conical shape. The thalamus modified into conical shape. And in this type, the gynoecium, this is the gynoecium, this is the carpel. Carpel is the individual part of gynoecium. And gynoecium occupies highest position. In this type, the gynoecium occupies highest position, and remaining floral organs, calyx, corolla and rhizome, they origin below the gynoecium. That's why in this condition the position of ovary, this is the ovary, the position of ovary is superior. The position of ovary is known as superior. Hypo means below gynoecium. Remaining floral organs present below the gynoecium. Then the position of ovary is said to be superior. Is it clear? In hypogynous flowers, the thalamus modified into conical shape, and the gynoecium occupies highest position. Remaining floral organs, they are born below the gynoecium, hence the position of ovary is known as superior. And hypogynous flowers usually they are present observed in hibiscus, and one more example is brinjal. And second type is perigynous flowers. Perigynous. In these flowers, the thalamus is modified into either disc shape or cup shape, and thalamus is expanded towards the lateral sides, like that. Thalamus is expanded towards the lateral sides, and this is the gynoecium. And gynoecium, it is present at center, and remaining floral organs present on margins of thalamus. In these flowers, the thalamus modified either disc shape or conical shape. So disc or deep cup shape, and thalamus also expanded towards the lateral sides, and gynoecium present towards the center. Gynoecium present at center, and remaining floral organs they are present on margins. And in this condition, half of the ovary is below the remaining floral parts, and half of the ovary is above the remaining floral parts. That's why in these conditions the position of ovary is said to be half superior, because half of the ovary is superior, or half inferior, because half of the ovary is below the remaining floral parts. And usually this type of flowers present in plums, peach and rose. These 3 examples are very important. Examples of perigynous flowers are very important. And last type is epigynous flowers. Epigynous flowers. Epi means above, gynoecium. In this type, the gynoecium is modified into deep cup-like structure or receptacle, and gynoecium occupies lowest position, and remaining floral parts present are there born above the gynoecium. So the position of ovary or the gynoecium in these flowers, the thalamus modified to receptacle, and gynoecium occupies lowest position, and remaining floral parts present above the gynoecium. The position of ovary is said to be inferior. In hypogynous flowers, the position of ovary is superior. In perigynous flowers, the position of ovary is half superior, half inferior. In epigynous flowers, the position of ovary is inferior. And this type of flowers usually found in guava, sunflower, and cucumber. So these are the different types of flowers according to the insertion of thalamus into the ovary or forms of thalamus. So from this video, the most important reproductive organ, flower, is totally complete.